All right. We're live. It generally cuts off the first couple seconds. So I'll say we're live a couple times. Because it tells us we're live and we're not yet. All right. We're live now. Welcome to episode 50 of the Brunch Ladies of Conshy Consignment. We are so happy to be here with you on this lovely Sunday morning. We have a special guest here. Yes. Let me introduce her. So this is Michelle of Shop Daisy Avenue. She's so much. She is a friend. She is a fellow seller. She is a wealth of knowledge on all sorts of antiques. And she is also my neighbor-ish, like a mile away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she is all those things and Shop Daisy Avenue. So welcome, Michelle.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we were just so excited. Molly is super bummed she is not going to be here, so you're going to have to come back one Sunday morning. Sorry, I know it's a real drag, but so what do you have to drink this morning?
I have my iced tea. Got my home brew.
Nice. So do you sweeten it? How do you drink it?
This is so terrible, but I like the pink stuff.
The pink stuff? Oh, the sweetener. Oh, that one. Oh, you're old school.
I'm totally old school. I mean, I grew up on Tab and Fresca, so I like that weird bitter flavor. And I make my own tea every morning. I make a really strong pitcher of black tea, and that's my fuel for the day. I don't even drink coffee.
Oh, you don't drink coffee? Really? Oh my gosh. I'm already two cups in. I'm ready to greet the day, and I'm ready to move on to my Bloody Mary. It's going to be a wild brunch, ladies, folks. Hold on. Buckle up. Buckle up. All right. So now that we have our drinks all squared away, it's been a fun week. Some of you might recognize Michelle from the community where we do resale therapy. She has been there for us. And this week she volunteered to help. She did the drawing. And what were your thoughts on that?
I was like a virtual Vanna White.
And we have the pictures to prove it. I cracked myself up with that video. Apparently nobody thought it's as funny as I did. I was like, so I made this TikTok reel, whatever. It's on Facebook too. And it's just a video of all the things that happened in resale therapy, like the mystery, the intrigue, the winners, the scandal. And I was cracking up so hard when I was making that. I thought, oh my God, people are going to love. Nobody cared. Nobody. I have to say, my friend Sherry, who you recognize from Brunch Ladies, and she's usually on resale therapy too. My kindred spirit, Sherry, got it. And she immediately saw it and was like hilarious, like just dying laughing. So, all right, I reached one person. But there's a picture of Michelle in there in her jammies doing the drawing, which is absolutely adorable. Thank you for doing that.
No worries. It was fun. Yeah. Okay, first of all, I was so impressed by, I cut my little strips of paper.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because of course, I don't have a label printer. I still use a paper cutter.
No, paper cutter. Wow.
I know.
That's awesome.
And so I cut on my little strips of paper, and then there were so many people, and it's like saying hi and sharing multiple people. And I was over there cutting more strips.
Oh my gosh.
I ran out of strips. It was fun.
It was a wild ride. Yeah. So what was it? The week before, I guess it was 2 weeks before I had done that myself. And I'm trying to show the items. All right. For those of you that don't know, Resale Therapy is a live sale we do on Facebook every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we do a drawing every week for $10 in store credit. And we usually have a prize. We always have another prize that we ship out to the winner. So we do this drawing. Okay. And I'm trying to answer the comments and show the items and, write everybody's name down. It was like, I was breaking out in a sweat trying to do all that. And I actually said to Molly the next day, how big is too big for resale therapy? Like, is there a point where like we're like, all right, this is like too much for us to handle, or do we just keep going? And she's like, don't worry, I'll be back. We can handle it. So we'll see.
I mean, Nick is pretty invaluable. I mean, to have in the background doing that when he does it.
Yeah. And I mean, he has his own hashtag now, Team Nick. He has his own fan base. He's probably excited to get back and do his once a quarter. He does Nick's Picks. Have you ever been to a Nick's Picks?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. So when we do resale therapy, he does the Nick's Picks. So he picks out all of the North Carolina Molly items for the evening. And he just gets like a real kick out of doing that. So we have Nick's Picks. And Molly has to abide by it, which is hilarious because they'll bicker about it a little bit sometimes. He's throwing all this stuff in here, but people live for it. They love it. He's got really good taste.
That's awesome.
Really good taste. Yeah. Oh, I totally forgot about this, but we actually talked about you on one brunch, ladies. I don't think you were there in the comments, but it was probably around the time we first started chatting, and you had that Build-A-Bear.
Oh my gosh.
The Springbok that you thought was a gazelle.
Yes.
And yeah, so tell us a little bit about that, because we were watching behind the scenes and we're like, ooh, this is so exciting.
That was a pretty crazy. So when I first started reselling, I started joining the other reseller groups. And I joined one she does a lot of tips on basically on reselling in general, but she specializes in plush, which I've, outside of antique, Gund or something like that. Like I've never really dealt with any plush. I had no idea about these Squishmallows and Build-A-Bears and all of this stuff. So I had gone down to the bins, the Goodwill bins in Reading, which if anybody doesn't know what that is, it's basically the Goodwill outlet where all the Goodwills in the region send their stuff that didn't sell. And they just have it on these huge tables and you have to dig for stuff. And and they charge you by the pound.
It's our version of sport, really.
Yes. You go prepared. I mean,
yes.
And you have to spend hours and it's pretty fun. So I was down there picking away and filling up my shopping cart because they weigh the entire shopping cart. And I saw this little stuffed animal sitting in the bin and I thought, that looks sort of like a Build-A-Bear.
Yeah.
And I've only known Build-A-Bear just from when I lived in California. I had a Disney pass and I would walk past the Build-A-Bear store all the time. So I would see stuff in the windows. That was my experience with Build-A-Bear. So I thought it was a gazelle. And I got kind of excited when I got it home and I looked up comps because there were some crazy ones. But, it's also that world where people sell $10,000 Beanie Babies. That's kind of a money laundering thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what I was doing. And I threw it up. And the first auction ended and the buyer didn't pay and I was completely crushed. And so then I got some coaching from you and from another reseller and put it back up and ended up selling it successfully. And, happily ever after, I sold it for 280, I think, wasn't it?
Who knew? I don't remember. I just remember watching the first auction and it was like taking up and up. And I honestly had no idea until I looked up when you asked me about it and I looked up the comps because plush is not something I do either. It was a little bit. Yeah. Wow.
And it went to live in Texas with a lady. So I don't know who buys these expensive stuffed animals, but it's kind of cool. Now I have a different perspective on plush a little bit. I'm a little more careful. I have another Build-A-Bear listed right now, but he's not very collectible. So he's like 25 or something.
I think based on your sale, Molly was looking at some Build-A-Bears. I don't know if somebody can sign them or but we have a couple up in our store now, but they are definitely not the African Springbok. They are definitely not. They are just run-of-the-mill Build-A-Bears. And I have a little confession to make. All right. So Beanie Babies are like, for those of you out there that don't know, are kind of like the joke of eBay, right? like Michelle said, people might use them for money laundering. You see some of them out there that are going for, extravagant amounts of money. But when you look into it, they're really not. Like there's very few Beanie Babies that are worth more than what, $1 or $2. All right. So I love to list and photograph those little guys. I know they're not, going to make us a lot of money, but they bring me such joy to photograph and list. And I don't know. I just can't say no to them.
I mean, I feel like it's a good energy thing. That was the reason they were created, right? Was to be just something to bring joy.
Oh. All right. So we're bringing them back to their roots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when I had my shop, which I had a walk-in shop where people could bring things for me to consign and sell on eBay, we would get ladies sometimes that would come in with the big bins, and we would just be like, oh no.
Yeah, that's kind of like what the feeling is from a business perspective.
It can
And
be
I know
overwhelming.
it's better probably for me to just say no, but occasionally I'll get like a bin of them with a consignment. I mean, I'm not taking like bins of Beanie Babies, but one of my good consigners, or it just so happens, and I just can't donate them.
Right.
All right. I probably shouldn't be confessing this. Please, for my consigners out there that are watching and listening, please don't bring me Beanie Babies because I can't resist them. It's like my kryptonite. Oh my gosh, my secret's out. This is terrible.
The crazy thing with they are fun. I mean, I got so into the Build-A-Bear Springbok thing, and when I was I do some volunteer work at a thrift store, and they had gotten in a bunch of toys, and some of them were sort of dirty or broken or whatever. And one of the things that they were getting ready to throw out was a Build-A-Bear cell phone. And I looked them up on eBay. It was just a little accessory with a wrist strap.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't sell for anything on eBay. And so I made it a little cell phone case and put it in the package with the Gazelle when I shipped it. So the lady got a little cell phone so the Gazelle could call home.
That's creativity and customer service right there. Right there. Oh my gosh. So what's one of the first things you sold and that kind of got you hooked with selling online?
Oh my gosh. Well, I started selling on eBay when it first started.
Mm-hmm.
And
web, right?
Right. And I mean, in those days, our handles were our email addresses, and you would ship the item and someone would put the check in the mail and you would get a snail mail check. Like,
or you ever have? I've been doing it for a long time too. Like people send actual cash through the mail. I'd be like, please don't send. They would send cash. Like I couldn't stop it. It was crazy.
It was crazy. But I think, I mean, there were a lot of, I started off doing a lot of clothing because I was in Los Angeles at the time, and we had some great thrift stores. And I would actually deliver to a lot of my buyers because they worked in Hollywood. They would, in agencies and stuff. So I would just do little daily drives and go in and deliver.
Yeah. Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah. And there was a time when local pickup was really big too. So I had a set of rattan furniture from the 50s and that I bought at a Salvation Army in El Monte. And you remember he was sitting there hitting the refresh button as the auction's about to end. And it went from like 500 to 700 to 900 to 1200 to refresh. And my mother was visiting me at the time. I was standing behind me, and it went over $3,000. And my mother was hooked. Suddenly my mother became an eBayer, and she already had an antique store, and she did consignment as well. So it was pretty funny. We both got completely hooked on eBay at that point.
It was a little more addicting with the auctions, I have to say. Like it definitely was that excitement you get even with like an in-person auction. It's just that not knowing what could happen, you get invested.
I do feel like, I mean, I think the learning process of moving to Buy It Now was harder than in some ways, but I wish that the buy it now process had been around when I was doing so much consignment, because when I had the store and people would come in, our policy was to start every auction at 99 cents, which meant our clients were putting a lot of trust in that whole big system. And sometimes it didn't always work out in their favor. And the great thing with the buy it now and the process of doing consignment now is if you know your stuff and you can research, then you're really doing your client a service.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great for us with the buy it now. For those of you that don't know, eBay used to be all auctions. Now, the vast majority is buy it now. Probably like 90, maybe even over 90%. But I still actually get people that hesitate, consigners and people that say, well, you auction everything. When I tell them we sell a lot on eBay, we sell through different avenues as well, but primarily eBay. They say, oh, is it, you auction everything? And I say, no. eBay is just like, I hate to make the comparison, but like Amazon, because that's what most people are familiar with, where you just go on, it's a price and you buy it. And it's always surprising to me how many people still think that eBay is primarily an auction site. It's true. They kind of shy away from it a little bit.
I mean, it's become the place where, when I need water filters for my ice maker and my water dispenser and my fridge, I buy them from vendors on eBay. I buy the filters for my heating system on eBay.
Yeah. There's everything. Not just collectibles, not just auction items, but yeah, it's definitely been an evolution. Do you
remember the last time you bid on something? Because I can't.
Yes, I do, because the only one up were auctions. My mother needed, it was like a replacement, those stim units. I can't even remember what it was. It was like a over the counter, like part of it, like a sticky pad of a stim. And the only one out there that matched was on auction. So I had a bid, and boy, was it annoying. Like, I want what I want now.
Our habits have changed.
Especially an item like that. Like, I don't want to wait. Like, we need it now. I don't want to wait and bid. Yes. But we got the item and it was fine and everything worked out. So I guess I shouldn't be complaining. I mean, to each his own, right? True. All right. So we had a lot of fun this week, actually, on Facebook, on social media. We talked about what people like, YouTube or podcast. And there were definitely a lot of people that preferred podcast, but there was also a surprising amount for YouTube. So where do you fall on that?
I tend to listen more than, I've started doing a little more YouTube because of you and Molly, and also because of Vicky and Katie.
Yeah.
Which is also on Sundays.
Yes.
And, but primarily I listen, and I will put on my headphones and bop around or, but then I'm also a terrible movie person. So I'll put on a movie sometimes.
Wait, you'll put on a movie and you'll listen?
Yeah. I'll listen to a movie while I'm working.
Oh, I thought you were saying you were listening to a podcast while you were watching a movie. I'm like, what?
No. Oh God. I can't walk and chew gum.
Oh yeah. So I couldn't kind of delve into the YouTube. Now it's funny because we're on YouTube right now doing video, but I convert this to podcast every Monday morning because that's my perspective. Is I listen to a podcast. I very rarely watch YouTube. And if I have YouTube on, I'm just doing the audio. Like, unless it's a tutorial, I'm just listening to the audio. And I always have podcasts in the car. I'm a podcast junkie. Like, I can't get enough. So it was kind of cool. I asked on social media what people listen to, and I kind of put up my playlist. And we got a lot of crime junkies in the house there. A lot of people that like real crime. Was it you? Somebody said, and I can't remember, that they found, it was Samantha. she said she found one that is like a makeup, and I've seen these on Facebook where they're doing their makeup and they're talking about true crime. Have you seen one of
I
those?
haven't seen this.
It's ridiculous, totally mesmerizing. Oh my gosh, it sounds, as I'm saying it, like why would anybody, but you watch it and you're just like,
I think I've seen something similar on TikTok.
oh, okay. Yeah, it's probably on TikTok too. Yeah, I need to get more on TikTok.
I mean, I feel like when I listen to podcasts, I tend to go more towards humor. So I listen to Paula Poundstone.
Oh, wow.
And I listen to Tig Notaro and Cheryl Hinton have a show where they review documentaries. That's hilarious. I mean, like very hilarious. And then Tig Notaro has one by herself called Don't Ask Tig. And every week she has on a different special guest and they answer people's questions and help them. Sometimes it's as simple as naming their cat and sometimes it's helping them with relationship advice. And it's sort of all over the map.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. I have so many new suggestions. My sister, I hope she's not watching, but she recommended that I listen to, I think it's called Smartless, Jason Bateman and Will Arnett, maybe. I don't know if I'm even saying the name right, a while ago. And she said it's absolutely just hilarious and awesome. So I gotta add that one plus some true crime ones. And then of course our reselling ones, right?
Right.
Yeah. I was a big, I think you said you hadn't heard of it, but Scavenger Life.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I missed them terribly. That was something I looked forward to every Monday. My kids did not, because we'd always be in the car on a Monday driving back and forth to Philly. And they'd be like, oh my gosh, again, Mom, again.
See, I am such a radio junkie. And I mean, this is the truth. I was working on a project and for some reason I had to source a picture of the Supreme Court. And I had to get this picture and I looked at it and there were two women on the Supreme Court. And I had no idea because, I would listen to like NPR and Cokie Roberts would read the transcripts from the Supreme Court.
Okay.
He would call them Justice so-and-so and Justice so-and-so. I had no idea.
Oh, that's so funny.
Because I'm such a radio person. I mean, my daughter growing up would, she was, This American Life was what she called story time. And we listened to some.
Oh, obsessed. We are obsessed. My daughter and I are obsessed with This American Life. There's a couple episodes of that I've listened to many times.
Yeah, Hands on a Hard Body is absolutely one of my favorites, which is, of course, it's about Texas and it's about trucks.
I don't think I know that one.
Oh, it's about the contest every year where the guys have to stand with their hands on a truck and they have to, whoever's the last man standing.
Yes. Oh my gosh. My all-time favorite one, gosh, is the one about middle school. I don't know if you've ever heard it. It's about how it's like they interview middle schoolers and middle school teachers, and they talk about how middle school is just like this black void of the universe where nothing good happens, and you just get through it. And it's just so smart and so funny. Oh, I love it. And I listened a couple times to the Legend of Bobby Dunbar. Did you ever hear that one?
Yes.
Oh, I might even have to like link that one up in the show notes because
do it.
It's
a classic.
Oh, absolutely. I listened to it a couple times and at least once with each of my children separately. Yeah. Fascinating. Oh yeah. All right. Now I got to add that back in. I don't know why that fell off of my list. Oh my goodness. Oh, you know what else happened this week was I got some cute pictures from customers.
Oh yes, you did.
Yeah. So Tiffany's mom, Claudia, the coat again. If you listen to us, you've definitely heard us talk about the coat again. Yes. The combination coat cardigan Michelle of Salvage Garden up in PEI introduced us to that word, which it's a real word. Yeah, it's a real word. It's a real classification. You found it in the girls department on eBay.
I
The
did.
Coatigan. So Claudia sent us a picture of her wearing her Coatigan at the Kennedy Center, and she looked stunning. And well, since he's a minor, I won't use his name. But one of our youngest winners at Resale Therapy won the Frozen travel set, and with the pillow and the blanket, and he was so thrilled. His mom sent us a picture of him like putting it all on the eye mask, and he's in the back of the car going to school, and he's just so excited and so happy, and it was really cute. I'm so happy she sent us that. So those are two fun things to look at. I love knowing where things go, because like your Springbok, you don't necessarily know what happened.
You get sort of attached to stuff sometimes. Mm-hmm. It's funny.
Yeah. So I always, the biggest thrill of this business is probably when people send us photos of things they've purchased. And on the rare occasion I've had, I'll do, like I've done both of my late grandmother's items. I've had people send, or, maybe not pictures, but descriptions of how much, they like the item. And that just is pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
It is.
I love it because I don't like to hang on to too many things. You've heard probably Molly talk about how you will sell anything. Like, my kids need to be careful. Which, Valentine's Day was this week, which reminds me, every year we talk about my family on Valentine's Day and how there was a period, it must have been I think Emma was like a junior in high school. There was a period of time where I kept selling our kitchen tables. And we kept cycling through kitchen tables. Like, I'd have one for a couple weeks, it'd sell. Have one for a couple of weeks, it would sell. And finally, we were out of kitchen tables, and we were eating on TV trays in the kitchen. So it was one Valentine's Day. Every Valentine's Day, I would get up and I'd make heart pancakes and like a cute little, breakfast for the kids. And there's a picture of her sitting at the TV tray with her heart pancakes. And so having me as a mom is adventurous, but not by choice, right?
I've done that. I've done that with light fixtures, the dining room. I actually have a dining room table, an extra one right now in the garage that it's just been too cold because I need to finish it. But I've done that too. It's sofas, lamps.
Oh, yeah. It's so fun. I mean, when people get irritated, my family gets irritated. I mean, I just say, how cool is it that your mom has a job where she not only gets to redecorate all the time, but she makes money while she's doing it. It's not costing anybody a dime. It's not taking anything away. It's all about the perspective. It's all about the perspective. But now I have my great grandmother's enamel top kitchen table, which is not absolutely for sale. So we're safe as far as dining room, or as far as kitchen tables are concerned in my house now. We're utterly safe. Utterly safe. I mean, the whole dining room is for sale, but not the kitchen table. Ay. And you always have that moment. Like, I always get people ask me. So I did the dining room. I did like our dining room table through like our refab and revive, like our upcycling. So, I painted it, and this is probably, I've lived here 5 years. It's probably our 5th dining room set, maybe, because I keep selling them. But this one I'm kind of invested in. So like when people ask me about it, like, oh, can I pick this up? Or, how far of a drive is it? How much does it cost to ship? I always get that little like, maybe they'll be too far away. I don't know. I get a little weird about this one, probably because we worked on it. It was the beginning of, when everything fell apart. I won't use the word, but when everything started and people were stuck at home. And we worked on it. My daughter and my mom and I just like worked on it, and we did a new technique, and we just spent hours and hours trying to figure out how to do the technique. And so, yeah.
That's what I actually had a dining room table in California that I sold on eBay, and the lady sent it shippers to pick it up. And I had to be at work, I think. Or I think I might have had a real job for a little bit there. And so I said, well, I'll leave. My house looked like my house there looked like your house now. And I had
I saw a picture of it. It's like my house, except in
green.
Yeah.
But so I had a little side porch. So I said, I'll put the dining room table and leaves on the side porch. Well, I came home from work. The movers had come. They'd taken the dining room table away and left the leaves. And it was a blonde Biedermeier. I mean, like, this lady paid good money for this.
Yeah.
I sent her messages. I never heard back. I had the leaves to this table until I left California.
Yeah. Well, I guess she didn't need them.
I guess she didn't.
It's so crazy. I have had a lot of occasions, actually. So if anybody's out there and you're listening and you are one of these people, give me a shout out. Purchase furniture and never come to get it. I've had it happen a surprising amount of times. Never. I don't know.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Why do we always come across sets of dining room chairs in 5s?
Oh.
Does everybody break one?
I have 5 at my
We
dining
room. We have multiple. Okay, this is it. Chairs are a weakness. We have multiple sets of dining room chairs, and they're all in sets of 5.
That's crazy. I'm gonna have to check with my mom has a thing for chairs. She loves chairs. I don't like chairs that much. I don't know. It's just not my thing. Right. Although I do have daisies on my chair here.
Yes, I love that little chair.
I just see how many of these chairs I had. I forget. I had, I think 5 of them now that you're saying.
It's a thing.
I think we have 5 of them. Oh, 2 of them are outside. There's this one. I don't know. It's been years. I don't know. I'm gonna have to check on that.
It's a mystery. Does someone like steal one chair? Does somebody break one chair?
Ay. All right. So what else? What else happened this week? I'm looking I'm actually like looking on my Instagram because there was just so much going on, and it was actually fun being on social media with everybody for the past. I don't know how long has Molly been gone. Month and a half, 2 months, about a month and a half. It's been kind of fun. I've been enjoying interacting with everybody because she usually does the majority of that. But I don't know. I think I might stick around. I think I might stick around a little bit.
Good at it. I tell you what, though, I can't wait for Molly's tutorials on Canva.
Oh, yeah. She's really great with graphics and branding, and yeah, we're really excited to delve into that. So we do that with our other business, which is, for those of you that don't know, consignment chats, where we work with other resellers, consignment sellers, stuff like that. And there's some overlap between the two, between Conshy Consignment and consignment chats. But we have a lot of fun. We learn a lot. We get to meet other resellers, which I'm going to do a video today about why resellers make the best friends. And I'm going to crack myself up and nobody's going to like it. But it'll amuse me. But because I think resellers make the best friends. Like, honestly, what more could you want? They're low maintenance. They're fun. Cheap date.
Yeah.
All sorts of useless knowledge. Fun facts. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Some of the useless knowledge is just, but it is fun, right? Like
you are so, all right. So when we're on Resale Therapy and we do Insta Resale Therapy on Instagram at 8 p.m. and it's pretty much a live unboxing. So I don't know a lot of the things. We sell a huge variety of items. So I don't really have one specialty besides Hummels, which I've talked about. I mean, I know a little bit about a lot of things, right, but not a lot about one thing, because it depends on what comes in. And then I'll go down that rabbit hole and do all sorts of research. And all right, so we're doing this live unboxing and you know so much about so much. It just boggles my mind. You'd be like, oh, that's a, I don't even know. I don't even know. That's a English lusterware teapot. Or tell us just how you got there. And you are really good at high-end items. You have very expensive taste.
Well, it really started, I don't know why, but when I was I grew up in Roswell, New Mexico, and we had I think 3 or 4 thrift stores. And as soon as I got my driver's license when I was 15, now it freaks me out to think of driving 15, but
Yeah.
I started going to thrift stores and buying stuff. And before that I'd been obsessed with fashion, and my parents collected art, like Southwestern stuff, but my dad built houses. Our houses were very modern and very contemporary design, and I started dragging home stuff.
Some people drag home, like my sister would always bring home stray animals. You bring home like stray items. Okay.
Yes, and I started wearing the outfits, and of course, this is all in the era of like Madonna with the tutus, and and
love that.
My mother started kind of getting hooked on it. I took her to an auction, and she bought a mystery box lot that she had no idea it was in the box, and it turned out there was a set of the most beautiful Canadian porcelain or china in this box, and she got the bug. And so she started going to appraisal school. She actually became a certified appraiser. And so she said, what are you going to be an appraiser? Well, I never went all the way up through the levels of doing certification.
Okay.
But I was a personal property appraiser. Like I was licensed. It's crazy. You have to pass this thing called the USPAP, which is an 8-day course of a government book that's this thick, and take an exam on it. And it's, so you can go into courtrooms and give and testify like about items, like in divorces, estates, that kind of stuff. And I just kept learning. I mean, you know how it is. You just keep learning all the time, but it really started because of fashion.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So in this world where we use Google image search, and tell us a little bit about being an appraiser and what that looks like, and the value add to that, as opposed to, researching it yourself. Like I really don't know.
Right. So with appraisals, for insurance purposes and that, what they want is fair market value. And fair market, and this happens a lot with people, where people think something is worth more than it, because they paid a lot for it. It happens a lot with jewelry, for example. Or a piece of art. But fair market value is what the item would realistically sell for in today's market. And and then there's also replacement value, which can be higher and be allowed. But fair market value is pretty much what an item would realistically sell for. So you can't say like, oh, I think this is worth $800 because that's what I would put on it if I tried to sell it. But if you go to replace it and you can buy one for $500, then its fair market value is $500.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That makes sense. Like consigners will, a lot of times when it was an estate, they will bring in their stuff with an appraisal report. I've run into the problem of a lot of times these appraisal reports are not accurate. Like I feel like, I don't know, like I'm looking at the item, like I'm thinking of one in particular appraisal report I had, and about a third of the items were actually not even identified correctly. So I I guess it is all about, like, with anything, you get what you get what you pay for. I don't know. I guess if
It's
you're gonna use an appraiser, it's make sure you have someone that is I mean, obviously certified, but knows what they're doing. I've
yeah.
just been blown away by the appraisal reports I have received on estates, and I feel like they just
It's kind of appraisals
misleading.
sort of become the wild, wild west a little bit
Okay.
because it's outside of having to pass the use PAP. You could go to an appraisal course and
Mhm.
you're not supposed to say, and you could be a member of an association
Okay.
and pay your annual fee, but that doesn't necessarily mean you've done all of the coursework.
Mm.
And so there's some people out there that pass themselves off as appraisers that don't really know what they're doing and are flying by the seat of their pants. So it's, really what you want to look for is probably nowadays someone that's certified, and the International Society of Appraisers and the American Association of Appraisers have come together, and they're now the American Association of the American Society of Appraisers. I think it's ASA,
Oh, okay. All right.
and they're
Yeah,
based in New
I've
York.
done some occasionally when I'm not, just to make sure I get the best for the consigner, I've done paid for appraisals on
Mhm.
certain items. And that has worked out well for me. That has worked out well for me. And I want to say like half of those I actually did online if there wasn't like an online appraisal. What do you think about those?
I mean, it's changed a lot. When I started doing it, they wouldn't allow, you had to have the item physically in your possession
Mhm.
in order to do an acceptable appraisal. And it's changed a lot. You were never supposed to do an oral appraisal either, where you would
Okay.
stand across the table from someone and look at it and go like, oh, I think it's worth 700. Um, you're supposed to put it in writing and give justification for why you think that price is correct. It's really changed a lot. The one thing that hasn't, and this is kind of interesting, is that there's a big, I don't know what you call it, but where you're not supposed to buy an item that you are appraising
Well, sure. Yeah, okay.
to keep it ethical. So
Yeah.
my mother, for example, never bought. She was completely consignment.
Mhm.
And if she, it's because people will come in and say, do you buy antiques?
Sure. Yeah.
And she would never do that. She'd always say, no, but I can consign it for you.
Okay, so she would appraise it and then she would consign it, but she
Mhm.
wouldn't buy it. Oh, all right. Oh, that's so neat.
Oh, she managed the
Oh,
top down. I mean, she would do like in divorces, she would do expert testimony on certain collections, and then get to do the estate sale, and then the things that were too high market for the estate sale would come to her shop.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's
28
like
years.
literally in your blood
Yeah.
to be doing this. That is so awesome. Gosh, I'm so glad we're friends. I'm so glad you're one of the brunch ladies. This is just all right. Thoughts on the Antiques Roadshow? Do you like it? Don't
I do. And I
have you met the brothers? Aren't the brothers in Allentown?
it,
I asked.
I have not met them. They actually branched off into the car world, for a while there. I'm not sure if they're still
Oh.
doing it. They adored my mother. I've
Oh.
never met. Yeah,
Oh my God.
they're quite interesting, aren't they?
Yes.
I love this. I mean, I love seeing sometimes like just regionally how the show will change. Like they were doing one that was in Michigan at an art institute, and this the regional things that would come in. This woman came in and she had this pen that was designed by a mid-century modern artist who um, was from the area and I think taught at this art institute. And the pen had been made for her father, who was a professor there as well. And she had matching pens, I guess. And because her sister had gotten one from her father as well. And it blew me away because it was so specifically Michigan.
Mhm.
But, mid-century modern's hot, so everybody knows about.
Oh, wow.
But this woman had no idea until she got to the Antique Roadshow. I think it's so
Oh,
cool.
I love that. I have chills right now. I love stories like that. I love stories like that. In one of the previous brunch ladies you talked about over in Slatington, my mom and I went to a like a yard sale outside the VFW. They were doing a little thing, and my mom actually found a painting by an artist she loved, who was actually one of her teachers for a short period of time, and she always wanted one of his pieces. And she just randomly like caught it out of the corner of her eye, and she's like, "Oh, that's a beautiful painting. It looks like such and such." And I'm sorry, I can't remember the artist's name. And a guy steps out and he is like, "Oh, that was my brother." And so my mom got this beautiful, painting by how weird is that?
That is so neat.
And she'd always wanted one. It was just randomly in Slatington at the VFW. And yeah. I love coincidences like that. I think it's just absolutely fascinating how things find the right home.
Did I tell you my kneeling chair story?
No.
So those chairs from like the late 70s, the 80s that you kneel on, they don't have a back. I found one on Facebook Marketplace that's metal. It's chrome with the brown nubby like Knoll fabric.
Mm-hmm.
And this woman wanted $10 for it. And she was in Lehighton. So we went up and picked it up. And I started talking to this lady. And it turns out that she is in the My Little Pony Hall of Fame because she designed all the play sets. And she lives in Lehighton.
Oh my gosh.
I know. This woman is, in the My Little Pony world, this woman is a goddess. I know, and I got her chair she used to sit on while she was designing.
Oh my gosh, that's so neat.
That makes the chair priceless to me.
All right, so you're going to keep the chair?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. I have so many questions about this. Like, did you go in her house? Was there My Little Pony stuff around? Like, how did you happen to come upon that?
She mentions how she was a designer, and then I said, "Oh, what did thinking like she maybe did pattern, something, I don't know." And and I asked what kind of design, and she told me.
Oh my gosh, that is so fun.
I know.
You never know. You never know what's going to happen when you live this life of consignment and resale and antiques. It's just wild. So, yeah, join us. Join the club. It's great in here. Resellers need awesome friends. I'm sounded like I'm starting a cult or something. Believe me, I'm not. I just like to have fun. And,
I had the conversation. I have a friend who does the marketing for a large, it's actually a French-owned company, but they own a lot of malls, shopping malls. Like they own the Grove in Los Angeles and, Westfield malls and all those. It's one company. And I asked him the other day if they ever talk about the impact of reselling on the retail industry, and they feel it.
Really? Wow. And now, have they heard of Conshy Consignment? Are they worried about us?
Not yet, but he sees the storm coming.
I'm sorry. It's just funny. We do what we do, but on the larger scale, really, it is our mission, to grow. As we say, our mission statement is growing a community of circular conscious people, and becoming part of this community. Like, we don't compete with that. We do compete with big box stores as a whole, and changing people's mindset about shopping secondhand, resale, consignment. And so, like, I embrace what Michelle does, and she embraces what we do, and it's just, a big circle, and we are working to change people's mindset about shopping that way and the ways they shop. And yeah, so that's interesting. So it's happening, and we are part of that.
I think so. I mean, I think people appreciate quality. There's so much fast fashion,
Yeah.
you know, and I think, you know, like my daughter was a great example. When she first moved out in her own place, she didn't want anything old. She wanted everything from IKEA.
Yeah.
And then when she bought her first house, she suddenly started shopping on eBay and Facebook Marketplace, and because she appreciated quality furniture. I mean, she's certainly grown up with quality furniture.
Yeah.
She knew that her IKEA stuff wasn't going to last, and it was just essentially the furniture version of fast fashion. And so, yeah, I mean, I was so proud of her when she told me she bought this antique wingback chair.
Oh,
I know.
That's so cute. Yeah, and I think now that's definitely the trend with younger people. We over the holidays we did a little bit of chatting about you know, normalizing secondhand gifts, or normalizing things like that. And there are people in like our children's generation that only want things that are, secondhand, or, sustainable, and they only want that. So it's just weird, because our mindset, probably our generation, is you give a gift and it's a new item. Like I would never think, I'm not talking about me, just as a whole, you wouldn't give something that was used.
Not unless you're from my family. I mean, one Christmas there was a thrift shop up near Pasadena. It was actually in Altadena. It was a tiny little hole in the wall, but for some reason they got stuff from Saks Fifth Avenue. And I would go in there all the time after I dropped my daughter off at school. And when I was checking out one day and I looked down, there was this bracelet in the case. And I said, "How much is that bracelet?" And they said $10. And I said, "Okay, I'll take it." And they said, "But the clasp is broken." And I said, that's okay. Wrapped it up, gave it to my mother for Christmas. And as soon as she opened it, she said, "Oh my God, a David Yurman bracelet." And
No,
I said, "It was only $10, Mom." And my friend who was with us for Christmas that year said, "Why would you tell your mother that you got her something used and you gave her something broken? Like, it's broken." And I said, "Because David Yurman has a replacement policy." So the next time my mom was in Dallas, she went to Neiman Marcus, took the bracelet in, they exchanged a brand new bracelet.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, because that was probably like part of the gift, is the fact that you were able to do this. It made the gift even more meaningful to her, right?
Right. And then she would tell her, "See, my daughter gave me a David Yurman bracelet for Christmas."
It was broken and it only cost her $10. Isn't it beautiful?
And she picked out one she liked better.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. I love that story so much. So much. Oh my God, we are like heading in on an hour. We got to wrap this baby up. We could do this all day. Michelle was trying to talk me into going to the Eight Oaks Distillery when we were done here, but I have some more recording to do. I got to behave today, but it is sunny and it is like, ooh, we got to get up there.
We do.
We got to get up there. They're following us to see what we do with our drinks on Sundays. I'm sure of it. All right, and we have to go on a day, not Sundays, because the consignment shop on the way is closed on Sundays. Yeah, so we'll have to do it on a day that's open so we can, do it all. Yeah.
For sure.
All right, if you guys haven't, like and subscribe. If you do hit the like button. Yeah. If you don't, we're not for everyone. That's okay. No offense.
All interactions, interaction.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, actually. I say like us, like I feel like there's us.
There is an us.
Yeah, I feel like there's an us. So thank you for joining us today, because there are people listening, and all of you out there, thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week if we don't see you in the Conshy Consignment community first. Thank you.
Have a great week.